Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to Mike's Horror Channel. In this video, I'm going to be going over my thoughts on the new Candyman. But before we do that, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button and also hit the bell so that you know every time I post a new video. All right, so getting started, I saw an article last night in Bloody Disgusting that talked about the idea that this new Candyman movie, the 2021 Candyman, is actually a sequel inside of a reboot. And I found that to be very misleading or weird. It's definitely a sequel. There's nothing that's a reboot about it aside from the character that plays Candyman, and there's a reason why it's not Tony Todd. But everything about this movie references everything that happened in the original Candyman movie with Tony Todd. They constantly mention Helen Lyle and what happened with the bonfire at the end, the baby, her going out and investigating Cabrini Green, the housing project. So they mention all of that consistently throughout the movie. So I can't really call it a reboot just off of that alone, right? So I just kind of wanted to address that because I found that very interesting. So definitely let me know what you guys think. Did you see this as a reboot of the movie, or did you see it as a sequel, which is really what it was? So one of the things I wanted to talk about was how did the new Candyman carry on the story, right? So the original, we had Tony Todd, and throughout the course of those original three movies, we find out exactly why he became the Candyman. But going into the 2021 movie, we find a completely different person playing Candyman. So I found that the way they carried on the story was very interesting. We find out that there was 5 other people who became the Candyman over time. Tony Todd was just the first, right? So they found a clever way to kind of remove Tony Todd's Candyman from this story and bring it around to someone else. I thought the actor that played Candyman throughout this movie was pretty good. The only thing that bothered me really was he didn't have much dialogue. Throughout the original Candyman, you get that haunting Tony Todd voice throughout the movie, and Helen Lyle is doing whatever she's doing, going through a parking garage or in her home, and she hears that eerie voice echoing somewhere in the distance before she sees him, and he does the whole be my victim and all of that. We don't get any of that in this new movie. So it's really just more visual, right? We see him from time to time, not much, which I'll get into. But it's really just a visual Candyman. We don't hear much from him until that very end scene. We see Candyman and with all the bees around him, and then we hear what I think Tony Todd's voice, saying I'm the writing on the walls and all of that. So we hear it at the end, but at no other point in the movie do we hear it. So that was interesting. And then of course we see Yahya Abdul-Mateen becoming the new Candyman, which I think is going to be great. It's going to make an awesome third movie, right? Because this is going to be the third movie in the franchise if it's greenlit, which I think it will be. And that's kind of obvious by the sales, right? Because I think no one knew if there was going to be another Candyman movie after this, or is this sequel just going to be it? And I think that was going to be determined by the sales, and it kind of was one of the only profitable movies during the pandemic, and it made history. So I think we're definitely going to see a third one just off that alone. But Yahya Abdul-Mateen playing Candyman, I think, is going to be fantastic. He was great throughout this whole movie. I'm excited to see what happens, if they decide to go with a third film. But kind of getting past all of that, what I really want to touch on are the kills in this movie. I've heard a lot of different opinions, and I've watched a lot of the different reviews that are out there on YouTube about how most of the kills happen off screen. That's not entirely true. So there's definitely one or two that might happen off screen. If you've watched the movie, then the bathroom scene that I'm talking about. You hear the kids sing Candyman in the bathroom, and then when the the child opens up the door, then he sees his sister laying on the floor, and Candyman's in the shower, just or in the back of the room, whatever that is, just staring back at him. Um, that's one of the off-screen kills, but I think everything else really does happen on screen. And I think what people are meaning by off-screen is that the the director Nia DaCosta uses mirrors to show you these kills. Really cool camera angles and mirrors to pull off the scene. You know what I mean? So, there's that art gallery scene where, the two people are standing together, and then we just kind of see something happen to her, but we can't see the Candyman putting the hook through her until the camera angle changes to another mirror, and then we see the Candyman standing there shoving his hook through her back and through her stomach. So they do show the kill. They just have an interesting way of doing it. Another one was the interesting window scene that everyone's been talking about, where the camera's panning back from the building, and we see the lady getting dragged across the window back and forth. So yeah, we don't see the Candyman, but we do see the kill. We see it happen. So a lot of the kills are not off screen. We just don't see him unless there is a mirror in the room, and they can find an interesting way to use the camera angle in the mirror to show the Candyman for a brief second or whatever they want to do. But the kills do happen on screen. They're not off screen at all in this movie. One of the other things I wanted to talk about was the Tony Todd appearance at the end of the movie. I didn't think it was necessary. They could have, if you remember the end of the first movie, Helen Lyle sets the bonfire, or the community sets the bonfire. Helen Lyle is inside of it with the Candyman and the baby. She saves the baby, Candyman burns, and that's the end of that. Since they were kind of retconning part 2 and 3 and just taking off from part 1, they could have left that there, especially since they took the time to explain that there were 5 other people that became the Candyman in this time period since Tony Todd. So you didn't need his appearance. So that kind of felt like fan service to me. Did they have to, what looked like digitally impose his face onto the Candyman, onto Yahya Abdul-Mateen? Did they have to do that? Did we need his voice? Maybe that would have been okay, to have his voice transcend into the current time, and then we see Abdul-Mateen become the Candyman and take his place. That's fine. But I don't think we needed to see Tony Todd. He didn't have to be in the movie. That just felt a lot like fan service. And really, it seemed like just a way to get people excited, right? Because they announced Tony Todd being in the film, and they announced that 2 years ago when they started filming it. So it got everyone really excited. Oh, the real Candyman is back and all of this, and we're going to see him as a Candyman. No, it was maybe 5 seconds of Tony Todd as Candyman, and it wasn't really needed. I thought Yahya Abdul-Mateen played the role perfect. I think they could have used him at the very end and had the same effect, where Tony Todd says, tell everyone. You didn't need him to do that, in my opinion. And I know it's going to be an unpopular opinion because everyone loves Tony Todd. I love Tony Todd. He'll forever be the best Candyman because no one's going to be scarier than him. I don't even think the new actor, Abdul-Mateen, is going to be as scary as Tony Todd, right? No one could really pull off what he did. But it's time to move forward with a new story, with a new Candyman, and we didn't need Tony Todd to pull that off. Now, the only reason that would make any sense to even include him would be if he was going to have some kind of important role in the second movie, right? But then what? There's going to be two Candyman? That doesn't make sense. So, not needed at all. So I'll keep this one short as always. I like to keep my videos between 5 and 10 minutes. Let me know what you guys think. I just kind of winging this one. Didn't have any notes. Just off the top of my head, what I thought of the movie. Tell me what you thought. One, did you think they did a good job of carrying on the story? 2, did we need Tony Todd in this movie, or could it have done without him? 3, do you want to see a Candyman Part 3? Right? We're not talking about the original Part 3 that already happened, right? So there's the original movie, there's the 2021 movie, and do we want to see another one after this, a new Part 3?